Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. There are a couple updates for the DCEU and some things I want to go through, and including a Justice League unauthorized Snyder Cut fan edit that I want to do a mini review of. But let's go on with the future movies that are coming out. These are all speculation. Some sites are running with it. So let's get to it. Mad Ghost Productions, which is where Jeff Johns is right now, that's his company. He updated his website just a little bit. The picture that was used for Green Lantern Corps has now have Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and now also Guy Gardner. So a lot of different websites are thinking that he's hinting that Guy Gardner will also appear in that movie, which is not surprise, and since the movie is called Green Lantern Corps, as in the Corps, so I am not surprised by that at all. Who knows why he changed it? Who knows why he updated it? Maybe because it's a bigger picture and things like that to match the photos of the lower Shazam and Aquaman and Wonder Woman 1984. Who knows? But people are running with it, so take whatever you want with that little information for that. Also, what may be nothing at all, but I thought worth mentioning, is that Matt Reeves has started suddenly tweeting out pictures of him at the Warner Brothers lot, and it shows Batman 1966. So he shows Batman, old Batman, the Adam West Batman, and also the villains of that time. And who knows what he's trying to do with that? I'm sure maybe there's going to be sites that are going to run with, these are the Batman villains. Oh my God, he's going to run with the 1966 Batman or things like that. Who knows why he's doing that? He may be just checking it out and says, wow, these are cool. I'm a Batman fan. Adam West is cool, but I thought I mentioned that if in any case. Who knows what he's doing with that? It's probably nothing to do with nor Batman that he's doing, the Batman that he's doing at all, but I thought it'd be pretty interesting because people are talking about it, wondering if that is what he's going to do, if that's his inspiration for the next film. I don't think so, but, it's interesting that he took pictures of those in any case. Now let's just go a little bit about what happened over this weekend. Not much big news, but I like that Screen Rant had run a couple Batman v Superman articles because they were able to talk to the crew for Batman v Superman. So Screen Rant was able to talk to Batman v Superman stunt coordinator and second unit director Damon Carroll, and they even had exclusive video showing the awesome warehouse fight scene where Batman's taking the thugs out, and you actually see Richard Citron, I believe, that he the stuntman doing that fight scene in that fashion. So the side by side view, pretty much the same. I mean, there's some zoom in, really close zoom in, things like that, and that'll be pretty awesome. So I think that is really cool that they've got Screen Rant went out of their way to do some interviews with these guys and showing the love for Batman v Superman. They made 3 articles about it. One for the Martha scene, which the crew was totally surprised by the backlash. I was surprised by the backlash as well, even though some of my friends were kind of like, part of that backlash. But I was totally surprised by the backlash as well. I totally understand the whole Martha point and how he sees himself as the villain, seeing himself kill a son of a mother who's happens to have the name Martha as well. I totally got that reference. I don't understand why nobody else does. Largely majority, and then it's refreshing to see that the crew was also surprised by that. The crew totally understand that. For some reason, it just didn't work well for the majority of the general populace, or people who hated Batman v Superman. I just don't get the hate, but it's great to see these articles come up to show a little bit more love again for Batman v Superman, a movie that is literally like 2 years old now, where we're still talking about it, which is so cool. To me, it's the greatest comic book movie of all time. May not be for you. That's fine. I don't care. I myself love this movie to death, and I still think it's the best comic book movie I've ever seen in my lifetime. right now. But it's great that Screen Rant is running those articles. Even Revenge of the Fans, he's also ran an article on Batman v Superman. So a lot of love there. So that is great and terrific in itself. Now I want to give a little mention to the Nerd Queens a little bit. Now it was Ray Fisher's birthday. Happy birthday, Ray Fisher! By the way, you are an awesome as Cyborg. I've seen his new concept art where he's looking more decked out. I know Film Junkie did a video about it. I think he mentioned that that could be the future Cyborg, which we did see a Cyborg suit, kind of prototype suit of him in the future as well. Too bad we didn't get to see that, but it's so cool to see little bits and pieces come out, and in time for Ray Fisher's birthday. I want to give a shout out to the Nerd Queens. I was off social media, so I wasn't able to do this, which sucks because they were able to print out some happy birthdays to Ray Fisher, and they printed it out and gave it to him at some show, which I don't know. It's HVFF. I'm sorry, I don't know what show that is that they're or event that they're at, but they got to meet with Ray Fisher, and while speaking with Ray Fisher, the Nerd Queens, they said that they discussed the Snyder Cut movement. He said, "Keep fighting the good fight. It exists." So that's from Ray Fisher himself. Nerd Queens, who don't get enough credit for what they do. They're the ones that got the I Love Zack Snyder ZS shirts, and we're passing it out at San Diego Comic-Con. They did all this stuff, and now they put together this printing out the tweets to say happy birthday to Ray Fisher, and they were able to meet Ray Fisher and let us know this good news from him, how he still supports Zack Snyder's cut, and how he's still telling everybody that it exists. And so I really thank you so much, the Nerd Queens, for doing this. This is so awesome. They even have a picture of them together with him, and I think that is so wonderful, so cool that there are a lot of these fans, and he's seeing that support. He's actually seeing the love of his fans coming up to him and saying that they want to see him as Cyborg. They support him, Borg Life, and we want to see the Snyder Cut. So it's awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. And so very much thank you to the Nerd Queens. Now, the Justice League Snyder Cut, we're still not getting any news from it, right? We're still nothing coming out. I don't know if Zack Snyder's hinting, or he's just really does love Star Wars, and he just likes seeing the original cut of Star Wars. Who knows? But that doesn't stop people from starting to do fan edits and fan cuts, and we've seen a number of them. We've seen an Ultimate Fan Cut, the Fan Cut, the Ultimate Edition. Ultimate Fan Edition. We're also going to get some Kryptonian cut, which John Aaron did too. And now we're getting Whiplash Dynamo's the unauthorized Snyder Cut that was released today. And I'm going to put his link to his trailer video because he has the link in his description. But I want you to see the trailer. So I'm going to put that in my description so you can go ahead and go to his website, web video, and download it from Mega Upload. And if you can, it's about 10 gigabytes. And it is fairly, I got to say, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't think it's my best cut yet so far. I think the best cut, I don't recall what it's called because they all sound very similar to each other, but it's the shortest one. And it's the one that starts off with the history battle. So the opening sequence is the history battle with Steppenwolf. That's the one that I think I enjoyed the most. But I gotta say, this guy who put in all the additional scenes, he puts in even the Iris scene somewhere towards the end. I like the editing of the first opening acts and then stringing in Batman v Superman scenes and stuff like that. I love that. The music is not totally all Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. I notice music from things like the last Transformers and things like that. I even see scenes of that too. There's a lot of different scenes he plugs in there, so it keeps you on your toes a little bit. Although he did take away some dramatic moments or beats that I thought would be still good in that film and things like that. There is at least one scene of the Russian family, but that's really quick. I don't think it still follows along the line of the actual Justice League movie in a way, but he does a pretty good job of putting it together. I think it's maybe one scene where it's like actually a the render, a pre-viz scene that he plugged in there. I don't think that was necessary, but anything, all I can't complain because I'm not doing the hard work, and I gotta congratulate him on doing such a good job with that. It's another cut for somebody to see and appreciate. We do have a little bit of Green Lantern thing towards the end as well, and Dark Side. I love. Okay, this is the part I really love is towards the end. He takes out the whole thing about smelling fear, and it makes sense for Dark Side folks to recall back Steppenwolf instead of them attacking the parademons attacking Steppenwolf. So I really like that. I really like how he threw that in. Sorry, it's really hot. I'm sweating here. I got another hurricane on the way, but I really like how he did that. And it's about an hour and 41 minutes. I think that's what it was. And fairly entertaining. Some of the color correction in the last battle, he didn't do too much. It's still red and things like that. But, and there's some scenes that we won't see too much of. And I totally get it because we've only seen previs of some extra cyborg scenes and stuff that it's impossible to put that in and knowing exactly where to place it without seeing an actual whole scene. But he certainly does try, and I really appreciate that. But overall, I think I still like that shorter cut that someone made. Where it's mostly what we believe is Zack Snyder's cuts. That's why it's a shorter movie. And it starts off with a scene from the Steppenwolf battle, history battle scene. So that's probably my favorite. But I am still looking forward to the next ones. I'm still looking forward to the Black Suit edition. Chris Dawson is doing that. AB Director is also finally making his own cut instead of scenes of the movie, so I'm looking forward to that. So really looking forward to see other people until in the meantime before we actually get to the Snyder Cut. Of course, we can't do anything majorly to the story of what I've heard that the Snyder Cut is actually quite different in terms of plot points, especially the ending. So this, people have been asking me, what about the ending? What is about that? Now, I was hemming and hawing about it, and I'm like, you know what? I don't really think it's speculation right now, right? Because for all I know, you don't know me. I don't, barely know you, and I'm not working for Warner Brothers. The people I talk to have sources that work with the staff and things like that, or the VFX artist, and my own friend who talked to a VFX artist. But I can't confirm that. So it's still speculation. It's still a rumor. But the interesting part is that I've gotten email information from one party, and they talk about the ending, and then my friend who didn't believe in the Snyder Cut, didn't believe it, finally heard that, told me about it. I didn't mention anything to him about how that ending would kind of turned out. And it's interesting for him, to come at me and say, you know what, this is what I heard and it's fantastic and stuff like that. I never told you. So to hear it, to hear that from him compared to what I know, or what I believe is true, is exciting because that means there's two different parties that are knowing that same facts, right? So one is from it was not in Canada, but it was a different country, but that VFX artist did the ending part, or what he assumed is the ending part of that movie. So this is gonna be spoilers from here on. I'm gonna put spoilers on the bottom. Spoilers, because you want to know what happened in that ending that I was told, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of what I think at the end. So starting with the emails that I've been getting for the ending, the ending was this: that after Steppenwolf is defeated, Boom Tube opens, you see Darkseid, you see Steppenwolf, possibly with something missing from him. Well, spoilers. Okay, his head's missing. So Wonder Woman, and this is from an email, but it was also confirmed by somebody we know in the community. But this is from an email source, and so I cannot confirm this at all. But apparently, Wonder Woman was supposed to, instead of destroying the axe, she actually slices off Steppenwolf's head. Yeah. Yeah. So slices off Steppenwolf's head, and then Darkseid comes out. You know that scene where the bridge, where I assume, because that's what I'm just guessing that, you know, that behind the scenes where they're all on that bridge, Superman included, they're looking up at something, boom tube opens or something, that Darkseid is there. So the person on the email said that Darkseid comes, he says kills everybody, but I find it hard to believe, but you know what, I don't know, right? So he defeats everybody except the Flash, and the Flash goes back in time. And you know, Omega beams coming after him and stuff like that. So that's what happens with that version, right? Now the one that my friend told me, of the VFX artist, and he said I could totally tell you, but he doesn't care because he's not our AD or anything. But he said that it was Steppenwolf that defeated the whole team. Steppenwolf is much stronger than the one we've seen in the movie, much more dangerous, much more colossal and things like that. And he kills everybody or defeats everybody except Flash, and Batman tells Flash to run. And so Flash goes super speed and goes through Speed Force and blah, blah, blah. Does something in time. He's not sure because the VFX art only did that sequence, but goes through what the story is that he goes through time, does something, comes back, and then it comes back to, you know, and they were able to defeat Steppenwolf or whatever. Now, this is the part that really kills me. So one is Darkseid. The other one says Steppenwolf. And to the fact that we know that there was Justice League Part 1 and Part 2, and the fact that there was possibly multiple test screenings for this movie in which throughout the whole thing, you know, Jeff Johns came in and kept changing and changing, making Zack Snyder change, do this, and do that, and do that. So is it possible that some of the original editing and things like that was because it was supposed to be Justice League Part 1, Flash goes in time, whoever defeats them, who knows. Justice League Part 2 deals with the Injustice Nightmare sequence in much more bigger length and whatever. And then they decide to narrow it down because from Justice League Part 1 and Part 2, they decided to do just Justice League 1. Just one Justice League movie, and so that sequence is a little bit faster. But it is supposed to tie in with Batman v Superman, which never really happened in, you know, the movie we see now. But they were supposed to do something with that, and I'm just guessing. This part I'm guessing is that if it was supposed to do Justice League 1, and then we start to have these other movies, even called Flashpoint, and then Justice League Part 2, is that Flashpoint Paradox is the movie after when, because of what Barry has done in going to the past and creating that paradox, which would be the Rick Famuyiwa movie that he would have made. That's what I'm guessing in any case, because I'm thinking, well, it's going to be a 5-part arc. So I don't know which part of that, if the Darkseid one was the, you know, test screening that was done in later of 20, what year is that? Later of 2017? Yeah, no. Later part of 2016. And then the Steppenwolf one, or vice versa, would be in the early part of 2017. So who knows which one? And who knows if and when the Snyder Cut comes out, which version we'll see. I think there are multiple versions because I'm hearing a lot of things. I'm hearing someone say that Superman turns evil too. I've not heard that. Which is cool and interesting because that would make sense because of the Batman v Superman nightmare sequence. But I think it's super cool and interesting to hear all these different versions and wondering what are we going to get? Or are we going to get? Are we ever going to reveal the truth on what is supposed to be the Snyder Cut? And the one that if and when he is actually going to have able to make Warner Brothers released, it would have to be an approved version that he will be releasing. And that version that he's releasing may not have this stuff that we're talking about, right? They would have to, because he shot the scene where Superman rips his shirt open. So he must have changed that as well when they're trying to turn it from Justice League 1 and 2 to just 1. So who knows? Who knows at this point? And I think that's kind of exciting because we don't know. But from things I've heard on my emails and stuff like that, confirmed by a couple people that I know, you and I know, and also confirmed by my friend, that's what I got. So Steppenwolf, Darkseid, who was it that killed it? Or does it matter at this point because maybe the Snyder Cut will be different from those two versions, in an approved Snyder Cut in any case. But anyway, that is it for tonight. Looking forward to seeing what happens next week if we get any news. Like I said, there is a hurricane coming. That's why it's very humid and hot. And by Wednesday, we should have some major tropical storm. Hopefully it doesn't get any more. That's the second hurricane that's coming straight for Hawaii this year. And a little bit scary, but I have enough water from the last hurricane to, I guess, survive for this one. We'll see what happens. If the next video you see me out in the open, that means my house is gone. But in any case, well, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. See you later. Bye.